Hello and welcome to my overview of all my empires in my entire Stellaris series. I have got a very long list of creations that I've ever made. Some are very, most are very modded, so yeah. But yes, so in this video I'm going to give you the overview of, or rather give you an in-depth view of my differing states that I've made. But yeah, I'll show you the traits and stuff. I'm gonna show you the governing ethics and their ideas of diplomacy. So yeah, here's the first one. An Imperial State, it is a Crusader Kingdom. This government is a zealous warrior monarchy, dedicated to defending and spreading its faith by force. These guys will probably be the type of people that would absolutely rip your head off if you were not practicing their religion. I based them off the Crusaders somewhat, or rather, imagine the Crusaders but Muslims, basically. That's what I base them off, and the most easy way to describe it. That's the easiest way to describe it. The political system in this society is renowned for its intrigue, power struggle, shady backroom deals, and cloak and dagger scheming are par for the course. Those who survive long enough to learn the game, however, tend to learn it well. So they're cutthroats, so backstabbing. They will backstab each other to no end. They are essentialist. In the philosophical ideological dispute over the value of knowledge, this society ultimately decided that solving the deepest and most abstract mysteries of the very fabric of reality is the true purpose of knowledge. National rituals. In this country, aside from religious freedom, the emphasis is on state-sponsored rituals and ceremonies which are performed throughout the country. Bureaucrats in the ceremonial field occupy important positions in this country, and the people look forward to the same ceremonies as the festivals. They're a feudal society. I think I don't need to really explain too much, but basically, if you don't know what a feudal society has the idea of there being farmers and lords, so they have an aristocrat hierarchy, basically. This society is organized in a feudal manner, with a monarch whose rule relies on powerful vassals that govern their territories with considerable autonomy. Imperialism. This society considers itself the most superior government and is doing all it can to demonstrate its national power and prestige and to secure its interest. Okay, so that is the first one. Yeah. Theocratic Monarchy. This government is a spiritualistic form of autocracy where the ruler is treated as a divine symbol. Organized religion is widely emphasized in support of the state apparatus. They have a caste system. This society has a strict class system based on religion, and interaction with those of other class or changing jobs is strongly restricted. Imperialism. This society considers itself superior. Again, cultural high rights. Education in this country is largely left to the local level and is difficult for the state to influence. It is difficult for the state to influence local authority over education. Finally got it right. Masterful crafters. A penchant for meticulous crafting lies of the society. Defect appendages and keen sensory organs aid them in crafting truly wondrous treasures, even the most basic of trades. Even in the most basic of trades. I don't know what those words are. But yeah, they're authoritarian, militarist, and spiritualist. Same with these guys up here, just a very different idea of how to do it. Okay, and here we come to the first somewhat democratic state. So these guys have elections. Also an election every 10 years to select a new ruler. I'll show you different types of democracy, because I do have variants that I use in this game. Military Commissariat. This government is nominally democratic, with a dividing line between the civil and administrative administration. There's a dividing line between the civil administration and the military, having blurred to the point where they have largely become one and the same. They're individualistic rationalist. This government of this country makes rational decisions and respects the consequences of rational decisions, but may exhibit somewhat self-righteous and individualistic behavior and thought forms. They are not predictable. In other words, they accept the consequences, but they're also like, we're the best. Like, they believe they're the best. They have idealistic foundation. This society was founded on a strong idealistic values. Whether the current government remains true to them or not, the people have not forgotten. Basically, they're very idealistic. Neoliberal. Advocates for a re-evaluation of individual liberty and market principles against the social market economy, and advocates that government intervention in individuals and markets should be at a minimum. I said that correctly. Pleasure seekers. This society rejoices in its own perfection. Those who are elevated by their privileged social structure have surrendered to a culture which glorifies pleasures and entertainment regardless of a cost typically borne by others. Functional architecture. I don't think I need to go into too much explaining for that. It's functional architecture. So, yeah. Military junta. This one is my personal, is based personally off my opinion of the US. Every country that is based off the US will have individualistic, rationalist, and neoliberal. Meaning that if you see any state of mind that has these two, it's probably based off America in some way. But this is the one that has the most personal opinion attached to it. Like, yeah. This is like my personal opinion one where I just created it out of my own opinion. But the military junta. Utilitarian planning. Functional architecture, efficient bureaucracy. So, the utilitarian. This government is concerned with doing the greatest good for the greatest number of rational calculations of resource allocation. So, they're very utilitarian, basically. Functional architecture, well, reinforces that. Efficient bureaucracy. This society is renowned for its efficiency. Not only do the mag trains run on time, but the colossal bureaucratic apparatus required to run an interstellar nation has been greatly streamlined. Longing for the future, this society is trying to figure out the unknown by itself and use it as a clue to the future. And, well, they like public debate. In the society, when an election or major issue arises, experts, politicians, etc. are brought together for an open debate. This society, which a society which values deliberation can deal with a variety of issues. Yeah, I just created that one. This one. This one is a direct democracy. It has Symbolic Monarchy. A symbolic monarchy is a monarchy that acknowledges the existence of a monarch, but in which the monarch is said to have no functions related to national government, but merely functions that symbol the unity of the people and the permanence of the nation in a spiritual and psychological sense. So basically, think of them as similar to Britain. Parliamentary system. The parliamentary system in the society encourages a free and lively debate, carrying flavor with one of the dominant political factions can prove to be quite advantageous. So they have, a parliament. Functional architecture, once again. Enlightened liberalism. This society values personal property rights, individual enterprise, advancing knowledge, and technical innovation, a culture for true captains of industry. Healthy habits. Well, I think you can guess that. Technocratic Dictatorship. This government is a materialistic form of autocracy where the scientific elite has assumed control over the state in the name of efficiency and technological progress. Now, I imagine you'll get tired of me having to say these two all the time, but this one has the very rare occurrence of having the conveyor system. This society considered set the absolute right of the state to decide where its citizens live and work. Budgetary theft. This society prizes cutting waste and operational efficiency above all things. So they basically are highly efficient dictators in some aspect. To maximize efficiency, this society is governed according to the principles of science and rationality. The personal whims of an ignorant and dangerously unqualified political elite must not be allowed to interfere. Yeah, these guys are dictatorial. They only hold an election upon the death of a ruler. Oh, and they're fanatic, materialist, and authoritarian. Rational consensus. This is the opposite of these guys. Budgetary thrift, I don't know. Technocracy, and experimental practices. Yes, that's one of the things these guys do. Every day is a paradise as a result of conducting all kinds of experiments on a daily basis and incorporating immature technique and theories into everyday life. I might have to search up what that word means. Theocratic Republic. They have national rituals, but they are a theocratic republic. This government is a spiritualistic form of democracy where a religious council supervises a democratic process and serves in an advisory role. In this country, aside from religious freedom, the emphasis on state-sponsored rituals and ceremonies which are performed throughout the country. Bureaucrats in the ceremony field occupy important positions in the country, and the people look forward to the same ceremonies as the festivals. Direct revelation. The religious culture of this society values insight from personal experiences of the divine. Ascetic virtues. This culture's religious beliefs include strict dietary and exercise requirements which help the body as much as the mind. and public works. A system of publicly employed makers labor power available for many tasks. Okay, let me read that. A system of public employment makes labor power available for many tasks. So yeah, basically, when imagining this one, just imagine the idea of them just being like, yeah, you know, they like do a thing, like they mass mobilize the population for a task that needs to be done. Oh, these guys are an artificial intelligence network. This machine intelligence consists of a linked network of semi-autonomous artificial intelligences who together make up a central gestalt conscience that guides their empire. They have distributed planning system, once a public service administration program for a vast planetary empire. The machine intelligence maintains its ability to spawn regional administrative subroutines to meet local needs. So, well, they're good at planning systems and can do that very well. Exploitation algorithms. The machine intelligence has developed frighteningly precise methods of calculating the expected contribution of its subjects. Astro prospecting mainframe. The creators of this machine intelligence intended to plan their society's exploitation of their solar system, a task it still excels at within them. Well, I'm just saying, the creators of machine intelligence, what? That seems quite odd. And spelling-wise, that seems very odd. Yeah. I'll let you read these since, you know. You've probably already had me mention these plenty enough, probably, to remember it. But yeah. I don't want to repeat myself too much, so let's move on. Communal Democracy. This government has extended the principles of representative government to the whole political economy. Within the central state being simply the largest scale democratic decision-making body. The personal truly is political, and its citizens collectively participate in nearly all the relevant decisions of all aspects of their lives. Personal truly is political? What? Okay, that's just confusing. My brain. That's really confusing. That spelling, I don't get it. What? The personal truly is political, and its citizens collectively participate in nearly all the relevant decisions of all aspects of their lives. So they have workers' councils, trade unions, democratic workplaces, and cooperatives are a valid part of civil society and an integral part of government. Utilitarian planning. Yeah, I'll let you do that. I'll let you read this just a bit. Institutionalized Collectivization. The government controls industry and infrastructure to assure a baseline of economic cooperation and fairness so that basic needs can be met. So, something like similar to communism. And if you're wondering why I'm rushing, it's because I have a lot of creations. Probably too many, really. And we're going to end up going through a decent amount of these. In fact, all of them. Proletarian Regime. This government is a single-party state that justifies its rule as necessary to see to the needs of the people and defend their revolution. So, similar to another one down the road, which I'll show you. Institutionalized Collectivization. The government controls industry and infrastructure to assure a baseline of economic cooperation and fairness so that basic needs can be met. But they have got noblesse oblige. So, a basic moral principle in Western society that those of high status have social responsibilities and duties that must be fulfilled accordingly. So they're not absolutely infallible in many ways. Now this one is a corporate state. A colonial charter board. The government of this empire's homeworld lacked the finances to exploit resources in space, and so set up a system that chartered joint stock companies to raise investment money for space-based resource extraction. The public-private partnership agency that administers those chartered companies came to encompass all matters of state as the society expands into space. So basically, these guys, they basically just a chartering company for colonizing space. Their vertical integration. This megacorporation owns and operates the entire supply and production chain from raw materials to sales for its major products. Brand loyalty. This megacorporation has fostered a great sense of brand loyalty among its internal consumer base. Its catchy corporate slogans can be recited by nearly everyone. They're also an agriculture company. The company focuses on agriculture. It survives as an environmental company by producing agriculture in harmony with nature. Interesting. I wouldn't think that an agriculture company would be like that, but colonial chartering, a system of chartered joint stock companies to raise investment money for space-based resource extraction. So yeah, they're basically just colonialist. Oh, and they have a cramming education. Cramming is a method of education that places an emphasis on increasing the amount of knowledge by rate or aims to increase knowledge. Citizen Republic. Citizen service. Are you doing your part? Full citizenship and the political responsibility that comes with it is limited to those who have served a tour of duty in the military. Service guarantees citizenship. Basically, they believe the society value the idea that you join the military for to have your democratic rights. Common values. This society shares the common values that intelligent life in the galaxy has universal existent values as well. Well, interesting. I'll give that. This society is a democratic system oriented towards economic equality with a focus on the non-privileged, mainly workers and soldiers. Automated indolence. This society, very early in its industrial revolution, decided to deal with the question of labor inequality by letting machines do the work as much as possible, and its social structure and technical focus has adopted to match. They also have the conveyor system. So They basically believe that the state has the right to move the population when and wherever. A direct democracy. They have social welfare. The society is committed to helping the weak and poor. The weak and the poor are well equipped to receive generous security. Common values. This society shares the common values that intelligent life in the galaxy has universal existence values as well. They also have people's democracy. This society's democratic system oriented towards economic equality with a focus on the non-privileged, mainly workers and soldiers. And well, they have healthy habits and they're meritocratic. An individual's social station or personal connection should have no bearing on their profession. The sole basis for advancement in this society is demonstrated by ability and talent. Yep, I just didn't see that is, But yeah, so basically they're meritocratic, democratic socialist. Corporate America, as I have called this one. Rationalist, marginal firm. The government is actually kind of a business enterprise that operates according to principle of rational, planned, efficiency for profit maximization. Every aspect of their lives, the lives of the citizen workers, has been designed according to best practice, and local regional governments have had their rules reduced to enforcement of waste reduction measures. So think of them as if a corporation like Amazon became like the owner of like the Milky Way and decided we're gonna scientifically manage which way our citizens work, and you will work at this time, at that time, and at that time. You do that time and that time. But yeah, ruthless competition. All levels of society in this mega corporation are constantly vying with each other in ruthless competition. It's a dog-eat-dog world. So yeah, they also have, well, neoliberal and individualistic rationale. Advocates for re-evaluation of individual liberty and market principles against the social market economy, and advocates that government intervention in individuals and markets should be at a minimum. So they're neoliberal. Yep. Yeah, they're also this. Like I said, I make sure every vision that I have of America will have these two traits. So when you see these, you know it's based off America. Scientific management. This business grew through precise and theoretical tested management techniques that govern every aspect of employee life, the tools, workspace, physical motions, work rhythm, and off the clock from cradle to grave. So they really manage you hard. Controlling interest. A small clique of well-connected members of the board and major shareholders have organized themselves well enough to ensure that all goes according to their design. So yeah, and this is the first one that I actively have on in all my games that you're gonna see. And once again, it's a Theocratic Republic. They have got that, but they've got social welfare, and they've got we will conquer together. Because of the diversity of the society and its tolerance of many different species, all races and people rise up in crisis to protect their society. But yeah, that's the only different one that they have. They're xenophile and they're egalitarian, but they're also spiritualist. And they're a Theocratic Republic. Think Iran. Basically, think of the structure of Iran when thinking Theocratic Republic. Oh, this one is fun. I will probably end up putting this in 2 parts. Now that I think about it, this will probably be going in 2 parts, just because of how many there are. They are a folkish commonwealth. This government is a nationalist populist republic that maintains loyalty by expanding common prejudice. They are individualist, rationalist, and unlike most other versions, they have supremacist demagoguery. This government manipulates the population with saber-rattling rhetoric and appeals to common prejudice and fears. They're also neoliberal and, well, they have elder politics. This government is dominated by older people and many decisions are made by skilled government officials. However, this tends to discourage newcomers from participating in government and reduces the predisposition to accept new ideas. Republicanism. This society believes that the greatest virtue is attained by people of good character serving the common good. As in, but remember, they have this trait. This is like, I base this a lot off 1980s, like the early 20th century sort of America, or, you know, the Republicans or something. I base this very off a modern day political view that some people in America have. You'll notice that all my states actually have some sort of realism to them. Like, they'll be based off real values of a country. So you will see them reflect those real values in some way. Military Commissariat. Military that is very much involved in politics, basically. This state's rare one, the one which I gave it, was the individual right to bear arms. This society recognizes the freedom to take up arms for the noble goal of protecting individual liberty. They're also neoliberal and individualist rationale. I think most people will soon notice a pattern about this. Elder politics. The government is dominated by older people and many decisions are made by skilled government officials. However, this tends to discourage newcomers from participating in government and reduces the predisposition to accept new ideas. A beacon of liberty. This society is a shining beacon of light in a sea of darkness. Liberty and individual freedoms are held in the highest regard here. So, they are very much inspired by America. I have got, like, many variants of this country. Like, I've got many variants of America in my list. They just have different aspects to them. Basically, it's the difference. Now, this is a Theocratic Dictatorship. This government is a spiritualist dictatorship ruled by a single individual in a hierarchical power structure supported by the official state religion. They're tribalistic. This society has a surviving tribal system based on blood and geography, which has a significant impact on society as a strong community. They are shapers. They are shapers, apparently. I don't really know what that even means, but I'll probably search it up. Endless philosophical ideological dispute over the value of knowledge. This society ultimately decided that it's life itself that matters most to living beings, and it carefully cultivation is the highest purpose of knowledge. So they're the opposite of the guys back at the top, basically. The Crusader guys believe that the unknown and the mystical should be the priority of knowledge. These guys believe that what in life should be, knowledge should be to help people in life, which I agree with to an extent. So it's like, and yeah, so basically they believe that that is what knowledge is valued for. Basically, it's just read it to see if I was right about what I was asserting. I try to make sure that I'm right when I say anything, just so that I don't sound like a fool or so long, you know. But exalted priesthood. To guard against heresy, this society is ruled by a religious council consisting of the wisest and most pious members of the clergy. So yeah, I mean, so they believe in knowledge being used for life, but they're also They're extremely religious still. They have a courier system, so they still believe in that they can put people wherever they want, and they have an efficient bureaucracy. So yeah. Oh, this is my attempt to do a positive version of this. This right here. This is the positive version right over here. They are military commissariat, so the military and its civil administration is very blurred still. Cosmic scale, libertarian. Freedom is not something that can be achieved only in one's own country, but it should be achieved on a galactic scale. Demonstration culture. The right to demonstrate is widely recognized in this society, making it easy for groups and activists of various ideologies to make their views known to society. So yeah. Individual right to bear arms. This society recognizes the freedom to take up arms for the noble cause of protecting individual liberty. So that's an interesting thing. This one. Oh, and they also have these two. There's only one country I curse with having these two no matter what. And I think we know which one that is. Oh, forever. The government of this country makes rational decisions and respects the consequences of rational decisions, but may exhibit somewhat self-righteous and individualistic behavior in thought forms that are not predictable. Advocates for a re-evaluation of individuality and market principles against the social market economy, and advocates that government intervention in individuals and markets should be at a minimum. Yeah, they basically, I think I haven't really managed to explain what they mean by minimum in this. When they mean minimum, as in, they won't intervene to, help you or save you or anything. A neoliberal, in this case, would be the type of person who'd be like, pay $100,000. Doesn't matter. For everything. Doesn't matter if it's important or not, of course. And here's the version which I used in our game. A representative democracy is what they are, basically. This government is a representative democracy where citizens vote on officials who are elected to represent them. This is basically the most accurate you can get America. I literally have no idea, no other way of possibly trying to attempt to create such a state. But I have succeeded in creating it pretty well. I think it's pretty accurate. They have these two, but they also have enlightened liberalism. The society values personal property rights, individual enterprise, advancing knowledge, and technical innovation. A culture for true captains of industry. They also have separation of powers. The executive, the legislature, and the judiciary each have a great deal of probability of running amok. By decentralizing each of them rather than concentrating them in one person or one agency, and having them mutually monitored, and the stability of the state and stability of the people can be achieved. Yep, I read that right. Elder politics. Well, basically just they have people who are much older. The government is dominated by older people, and many decisions are made by skilled government officials. However, this tends to discourage newcomers from participating in government and reduces the predisposition to accept new ideas. I really don't hold back on the realism. You're gonna really find that in most of my creations, I go really realistic. But yeah, I think I'll have to stop here, since this is just, yeah, I'll do it in parts, I think. So let's see, yeah, I hope you liked the first part, and well, see you in the next part.